Sean with IlmoEntertainment.com. I'm here with Evil J from OTEP, and new CD's coming out next week on the 18th. Right?
Yes, very exciting, very exciting.
Smash the Control Machine.
Smash that machine, yes.
And I think everybody's very familiar with OTEP Shemaya's creativity and what she does, and maybe not so much what Evil J is doing with the band. And maybe we could talk about that a little bit. I mean, we were kind of hitting on it a little bit before, but
I mean, it all started when we first met. The chemistry that we found that complemented each other is that, you know, she was just this like word genius. You know, she's really knew how to express herself and to use words and rhythms in such a unique manner. And then when I came along, I was this kind of avant-garde, eccentric metalhead who played metal for such a long time, but also played in musicals and played in jazz band, and so I had this unique diversity to my musical background.
Right.
So that when we got together, we were just like, you know, the idea of creating a performance art metal band would be kind of unique, and that's where the ideas for the interludes in between our live songs are, and it really kind of creates an interesting journey to go along. But that was the uniqueness in our relationship, was that I could complement her ability to use words and rhythms so well, and to have such strong meaning to them with the music that I would try to come up with and write as well. It's like that was very emotional attachments to the guitar riffs that I come up with and whatnot, and that's why I like grooves and I like aggressive. I like to have emotional feelings expressed through our music, so it helps reiterate her point and her message in the song as well. So it's been my goal throughout the last roughly almost decade to continue that complement to the whole situation and just try to keep it so that the music and the message stand side by side. You know, I never want her. I mean, she's always pushing forward, so she's always making me chase behind, which is good, and it makes me a better player, a better person, a little more creative, and so it's been a unique joining of a group right there, and then having other members come and go and whatnot has also added a little new flavor and a different taste, and there's always a little extra difference. You know, maybe you use pepper on this song and use salt on that song, but it's allowed for her and I to always maintain that foundation and that ground, so that no matter what else happens, we're always going to be OTEP.
Right. You hit on a couple points that you're going through there. I'm like, but you talked about getting together with OTEP, and how did you guys find each other? I mean, a lot of people may already know this, but it's good info.
Yeah, it was actually, I I moved out to Los Angeles back in 2000 and wanted to play in some bands, so I started auditioning, and I actually joined like a very classic rock, almost Black Crowes style band, and we did one show, and it just turned out that the drummer of that band, his drum teacher back in the East Coast was this guy named Moke, who just landed this new gig a week ago with this band OTEP, and they were looking for a bass player, and he sees me playing classic rock, but I'm playing this 6-string bass, and he's like, he's really in pocket, and so he called the drummer that was in the band and was like, hey, you know, what's up with your bass player? Is he into metal? And he's like, well, the other band I was playing in LA was also a hardcore band, so he was like, yeah, he's in this metal band. And so, that long story short, I got the audition and rolled in, and I didn't even have any prepared music at the time. You know, I just went in there and I was like, okay, you guys have any songs? And they're like, no, not really. And I'm like, okay, well, cool, I guess I get the gig, because you can't tell if I'm good or not. You know, and we all had that laugh, and that helped relax me, because it was nerve-wracking. You know, it was a professional place to go and audition, and you know, all this preparation that I had already done, I wanted to be the best I could, and so they just asked me if I was a writer, and it's like, sure. So I started to write and started the beginnings of one of our songs called Possession off our first record, and then they tricked me and said, okay, well, we do have a couple songs. I'm like, okay, I knew there was going to be something somewhere, and they were just like, good, you want to sit down and go riff by riff? And I'm like, you know, just go ahead and start playing, and I'll try to catch on. And within the first 3 notes, I started to play, and I played straight through the song, and they just were like, did you just do it? I'm like, can you play it one more time so I can just kind of nail it? But the second time I added slap parts to it, a third time I had slap and tap and regular parts, and they're just like, all right, I think we found our guy. So, you know, and that was when she and I really got to sit down and talk, and that was when I learned more about her background, and she saw that I have this Eye of Ra tattoo on my leg, and, you know, the OTEP and the Egyptian suffix meaning creative offerings, and she was like, "Are you into Egyptian mythology?" And I'm like, "Well, I moved to LA and got a scarab beetle tattoo because it's a symbol of resurrection, and I feel as if I was born anew out here." So
Very cool.
she was like, "All right, cool. You're deep and you can play." So
Flash that thing on the camera. Yeah,
the scarab beetle, which is there's my symbol, and then this one is actually for our shadow soldiers, our fans, the SS4L. Or I got a fan tattoo instead of a band tattoo.
Nice.
I did it for my fans. So
nice. Now, and you've been with OTEP since it started, and on this new CD, Smash the Control Machine.
Yeah.
You got a lot of the old members back together.
Yeah, we got Moke, and who got me in the band originally, and then Rob, who came back, and it was really something unique to see what kind of chemistry would be there after all these years. I mean, they went off and did their own thing while we still continued down our journey, and to see, you know, what it would be like, and surprisingly enough, we wrote an amazing record, but we wrote and recorded all the music in a month.
Wow.
So it was just like, we did a couple weeks of, you know, pre-pro work and getting some ideas, but as soon as we got into the studio, for some reason the creativity just clicked, and the vibe and the fun that both the guys and I had just coming up with riffs, and it just started to fuel her, and she's like, I'm grabbing onto that, and I got lyrics that'll fit that, and you know, I mean, the song itself, Smash Control Machine, was one of those first ones that we started to write, where I put a Gibson SG in my hand, and all of a sudden it tuned to drop D, and I was like, this sounds rock, and I'm like, she's like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know, what do you want it to be? So it became Smash Control Machine. So, and it was, you know, it's another, you know, we had Confrontation, which is a very, you know, a pushing, aggressive political song, and then this one almost kind of reminds me of those old, you know, Arlo Guthrie days and the old times of like political, you know, the classic rock political vibe and stuff like that, where it's like, I don't need to really shove it down your face, but my message and my point are going to come through.
Now, the video just came out.
Yeah, it did. I just saw it yesterday for the first time. And yeah, like this video, that the colors and the vibe, and I really loved the way that he had us playing as a group. You know, a lot of our other videos was just flipping around us individually and things like that, which was super cool. But then I mean, Paul Brown is such an amazing video director, and when he and OTEP get together, they do such insane things. It's like, okay, how do you one-up your last one? How do you do better? How do you beat Ghost Flowers, you know? And then how do you beat all these other ones, Confrontation, and then Breed, you know, and then, all right, Smash Control Machine. You know, and he put us in the Control Machine, and that was the imagery and everything. I have to watch it. It's like Warhead. You got to watch it a million times because there's so much going on. And the fact that he would take that much time for us and put that much time and effort into it just means so much to me personally, but as well to the band and to the fans, that he's not going to, you know, cut anything short just to try to, don't worry, they won't notice. Because for us, we think everybody notices everything.
I know you're touring now. You're going to pick up with, in the fall, with Five Finger Death Punch. Awesome.
Them, and then some other old dear friends of mine, Shadows Fall. I'm from the East Coast, and when I was growing up, I actually used to play in local bands with like Maddie, the guitar player, and his local band before Shadows Fall even formed. And I was there when Shadows Fall started, and I remember seeing Shadows Fall play on the local stage on Warped Tour in '97.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was back when Phil from All That Remains was singing.
Yeah.
You know, it was right before the change. And then they got Brian, who was, you know, just amazing singer and a perfect front man, and it's great to see that they both went this way, and Phil's doing really well with All That Remains, and Brian and all those guys over there in that camp are still kicking, and it's our first time we get to tour with Shadows Fall and Five Finger, so but all three of us have played a show together where it was Five Finger Death Punch, us, and then Shadows Fall, and that was like last year, so now it's just like, are you kidding me? This is, I don't need Ozfests and things like that anymore. I got two great bands, and then the opening band is a band called 2 Cents out of Malibu, California, and we were on Static X with them. So it's like, it's going to be one of the like warmest family vibe tours, and I think it's going to be almost up there with what Mayhem Fest would have to offer. You know, as far as the power and the bands and the intensities of the show, I think it's going to be a great tour.
Yeah. Well, Evil J, thank you.
Smash the Control Machine comes out August 18th. Pick it up.